Minister Sébastien Martin, Minister for Industry, attached to the Minister of Economics, Finance, and Industrial Energy and Digital Sovereignty, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and friends. Good morning and welcome to all of you. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to this 7th Summit for Space Sustainability. And also to our participants joining us online. A warm welcome to all of you as well. Thank you for joining the summit online. We're very excited to be co-hosting this summit with CNES and the government of France here in this beautiful city of Paris. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners for hosting us here in this excellent venue. We're here to talk about shaping a sustainable, safe, and secure future for space activities. What does such a future look like? What do we want it to look like? We can imagine multiple possible futures for humanity in space. And indeed, the arts often help with our imagination. On my flight here to Paris, one of the in-flight movies that was on offer was Stanley Kubrick's famous movie 2001, Space Odyssey. That movie was released in 1968, the year after the Outer Space Treaty entered into force and a year before the Apollo moon landing, and yet it was remarkably prescient for its time. That film showed a remarkable vision of a possible future of space activities in which familiar commercial enterprises on Earth had expanded their activities into space. Of course, those things depicted in the movie are taking a lot longer to achieve than was foreseen in 1968 when the movie was made, but that is just one of many possible visions for the future of space. But the trends that we see today in orbit are unmistakable. What we did not and could not fully foresee in the late 1960s when the Outer Space Treaty was adopted was the extent to which space would become congested with active satellites, contaminated with space debris, and contested by a growing number of state and non-state actors, and all the associated governance challenges that this would create. Now, we cannot change the past, but we can shape the future through vision and collective actions. And that is why we are here today, to imagine and help shape a future of sustainable, safe, and secure space activities for the benefit of all humankind. This is called the Summit for Space Sustainability, not the Summit about or on space sustainability, because we want this conference to be something that brings us closer to common understandings and collective actions and solutions to promote space sustainability. In short, we want to transform ideas into actions. The program of the summit is structured to inform and support existing initiatives of governments, the private sector, and the international multilateral fora dealing with space governance and security issues. The term space sustainability appeared in the space lexicon sometime in the late 2000s or early 2010s, I'm not really sure, but sometime in that time frame. And it gained prominence following the adoption of the 21 guidelines for space sustainability adopted by the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, or COPUOS, in 2019. This was a multi-year process which I had the honor to chair, but it was initiated by the French delegation at COPUOS in the late 2000s, especially under the COPUOS chairmanship of the former Director General of CNES, Mr. Aschbacher, who is here with us today. I'm really delighted that you could join us, Gerard. I would say that if space sustainability were to have a father, it would be Gerard Brachet. And so we're delighted that we can close this loop and be here at having this summit in Paris. Under his leadership in COPUOS, this matter was taken up by the committee, and numerous French experts contributed to the development of those guidelines during the period 2011 to 2018, and many of them are here with us in this room today. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leadership and great contributions of CNES and the government of France to making space sustainability a multilateral policy issue. In the early discussions on this topic, space sustainability was essentially seen as being synonymous with space debris. We now regard the debris to be just one of the dimensions of a much more complex, multifaceted, and interconnected set of challenges that we collectively refer to as space sustainability. Addressing those challenges requires collective action by a wide range of stakeholders represented here among you today. We also know that space sustainability, space safety, and space security are interlinked. You cannot have one without the other two. The program for this summit reflects the complex and multidimensional nature of space sustainability. Over the next 2 days, in a series of highlight talks, panels, and roundtables, we will explore the various dimensions of space sustainability. We will look at which technologies are critical to ensuring space sustainability, how to make progress on space traffic coordination, what should be the multilateral priorities for space sustainability. We'll look at space security challenges and the increasingly blurred lines between military and commercial space, to name but a few. So as you see, we will touch on a wide range of topics, all under the general rubric of space sustainability. But this is not meant to be just a discussion among the panelists and keynote speakers. We want to give you, the participants, both in person and online, the opportunity to engage in the conversations. You will be able to pose questions through the Hoover app on your mobile device, and we encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to participate in the discussions and debates over the next 2 days. Now, delivering an event like this would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors and partners. I would like to acknowledge and thank our global partners, the European Space Agency, the Luxembourg Space Agency, and the UK Space Agency. Our platinum sponsors, Airbus, Amazon Project Kuiper, and Eutelsat Group, our gold sponsor, Astroscale, and all of our other sponsors whose logos you see on the banner behind me. Without your support, this event would not have been possible. Thank you for demonstrating your commitment to space sustainability through supporting this event and through your many actions in your own organizations. With that, I would like to end my opening remarks, and I would now like to invite onto the stage Minister Sébastien Martin to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, let me first thank Cinda Collins-Arsenault, Ms. President, and also the Dr. Peter Martinez and the Secure World Foundation for bringing this 7th Summit for Space Sustainability here to Paris. And let me also salute Josef Aschbacher, Director General of the European Space Agency, who joins us online today. It is a great honor for France to host this important event, together with the Secure World Foundation and the CNES. This summit is more than a meeting, it is a statement that space sustainability matters and that it is now a shared priority for all of us across continents and across sectors. As you may know, France has a long history of commitment to the sustainable and peaceful use of outer space. We were among the first nations to understand that the growth of space activities would only make sense if it was accompanied by responsibility. Responsibility in the way we design, launch, and operate. This has always been part of our DNA, as engineers, as policymakers, and as Europeans. Because we know that space is not a playground. It is an invisible but vital infrastructure for our daily lives. When a farmer monitors his crops, when a ship navigates safely, when an ambulance finds the fastest route, when we observe our planet's climate, space is working silently behind the scenes. Space connects, protects, and informs us. So yes, space sustainability is not an abstract topic. It is about the continuity of our lives on Earth. And though this question is not new, it has taken a new dimension with the rise of new space and the deployment of large constellations in low Earth orbit. This evolution is a sign of vitality and innovation, but it also brings new challenges, environmental, industrial, and regulatory. We must adapt quickly and collectively, because we are no longer talking about the space industry of the past. We are building the space economy of the future, one that must be responsible by design. As I often say about industry, success is not built with sudden bursts, but through rhythm, method, and a long-term vision. That is exactly what sustainability is about, building a model that allows us to look far ahead, not just at the next emergency. And these challenges are international by nature. No country can face them alone. It is why a forum like this summit is so essential. It embodies the collective effort that space sustainability requires. And as Europeans, as well as members of the international community, we must act together with urgency and unity. Because in space, as in many industrial sectors, the rules of the game have changed, and they only make sense if we all play them. France is deeply involved in these debates, both at the European level and within the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space. We are convinced that regulation and innovation must go hand in hand. And that means working closely with our industrial ecosystem, because there is no industrial policy without industry itself. France has a long-standing space history. Our space history is world-class, from major historic companies to young new space startups that are changing the way we see and use space. This combination is our greatest strength. Our traditional actors bring excellence and reliability. Our new players bring energy and creativity. We need both, working together, learning from each other, and shaping the future together. But let me be clear. An industry only lives through the women and men who make it real. That is why France has chosen to fully involve its industrial community in decision-making, in international discussions, and in defining the technical and regulatory standards that will shape tomorrow's space activities. This is not just consultation, it is co-construction. And it is exactly what we did with our Space Operations Act, which defines clear and responsible rules. It is also how we built our national roadmap for the decarbonization of the space sector, published last June at the Paris Air Show. It is the result of close collaboration between the government, CNES, and the entire space industry. This roadmap is not just a document, it is a method for producing policies and standards that are ambitious, realistic, and shared. Ladies and gentlemen, later today, you will hear from Philippe Baptiste, Minister for Higher Education, Research and Space. I can already tell you that our perspectives are perfectly aligned, and our work is fully complementary. Together, we share the same conviction that sustainability in space is not a constraint, it is a condition for progress, and that the only way to make it real is through cooperation between nations, agencies, and once again, industries. So let me thank you all again for being part of this collective effort. Let's use these 2 days to strengthen our shared vision to make space activities safer, cleaner, and more sustainable for the benefit of all humankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Martin, for expressing France's commitment to space sustainability in so many ways. And thank you again for co-hosting this event with us. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce opening remarks by Dr. Josef Aschbacher, the Director General of the European Space Agency. Unfortunately, due to other commitments, Dr. Aschbacher could not be with us in person here today, and he has sent us his remarks in the form of a recorded video. So I would now ask the AV team to please roll Dr. Aschbacher's video.
Distinguished ministers, ambassadors, heads of space agencies, and esteemed colleagues from around the world, for decades, the European Space Agency has looked at space not only to explore the unknown, but to better understand our own planet, its beauty, its fragility, and the risks it faces from climate change and other global pressures. This knowledge leaves no room for inaction. Guided by our core values, ESA is fully committed to making its activities more sustainable. Our objective is clear: to address the most pressing global challenges and implement ambitious changes, both in our own practices and in close collaboration with our partners. Space activities are unlike any others. They interact with not just Earth, but with three interconnected environments: Earth itself, Earth's orbit, and the Moon and deep space. Each of these environments matters, and each demands responsible stewardship. Yet, as the space industry expands at an unprecedented pace, so too does our concern about the adverse effects of our activities on these environments. That is why ESA adopts a holistic approach, reducing our footprint on Earth and preventing the generation of space debris in Earth's orbit, and ensuring the exploration of the Moon and deep space is conducted with care and foresight. On Earth, our focus has been on reducing the environmental impacts of our missions, from design, manufacturing, and testing to launch, operations, and even potential atmospheric re-entry. For more than a decade, we have used life cycle assessment to identify environmental hotspots across the mission life cycle, pinpointing where changes matter most. Building on these insights, we are now embedding eco-design principles into our engineering processes. Eco-design means developing new materials, adopting more sustainable technologies, and improving energy efficiency. It means reducing resource use, minimizing emissions, and transitioning to renewable energy sources wherever possible. We don't yet have every solution, but solving the remaining problems is where innovation begins, creating opportunities for Europe's industrial leadership and competitiveness in the global space sector. At ESA, we are turning ambition into action, demonstrating that a sustainable space industry is not only essential, but entirely achievable. In Earth's orbit, the most critical issue is space debris. ESA has launched a zero debris approach, aiming for debris neutrality in all our missions from 2030 onwards. Since 2023, the world's strictest space debris mitigation requirements have applied to all new ESA missions. In parallel, we have initiated major investments in an ambitious technological roadmap. ESA is committed to leading both by example and by collaboration. The spirit of co-creation led to the development of the Zero Debris Charter, a bold, collective commitment setting out shared principles and measurable targets to achieve zero debris by 2030. ESA acted as a facilitator, offering tools and support through our activities. The response has been overwhelming. Over 180 organizations from 33 countries, including 20 national governments, have signed the Charter. More than 100 stakeholders actively participated in its development in 2023, from agencies and academia to startups and established industrial players. This shows that the global space community is hungry for action. ESA is following closely the proposed European Space Act, by the European Commission, which aims to establish clear safety and sustainability objectives for the entire European space sector. ESA is ready to support the European Commission in that process. Through our space safety program, ESA is pioneering missions that go beyond mitigation to active debris removal and in-orbit servicing. These include ClearSpace 1, the world's first active debris removal mission, RISE, enabling commercial life extension services in geostationary orbit, CAT, focusing on ensuring post-mission disposal of prepared spacecraft. Looking forward, and aligned with the ESA Strategy 2040, we are laying the foundations for a circular economy in space. We are developing the building blocks for in-orbit refurbishment, repair, recycling, and manufacturing, an unprecedented paradigm shift in how we think about sustainability in space. Today, we gather with a shared vision, a world where we continue to reap the extraordinary benefits of space without contributing to the degradation of vital environments. This gathering is also an opportunity to reflect on the evolving global landscape of space. In a world marked by growing geopolitical tensions, emerging alliances, and increasing competition for power, we are witnessing fundamental changes. Where once international partnerships served as a vehicle to achieve space ambitions, now space ambitions themselves are becoming a vehicle to forge and strengthen international partnerships, extending well beyond the technical and programmatic realms. Our ambition is to provide space capabilities that support informed policy-making, decision-making, and international engagement. We want to strengthen European competitiveness through global collaboration, investment in strategic enablers, and the promotion of unique European selling points. Space is a powerful and sometimes underestimated tool for generating geo-economic benefits that extend far beyond the space sector itself. Of course, this broader strategic view does not distract from our core mission. On the contrary, international collaboration directly supports our programs, delivering tangible value to our member states and partners, particularly the European Union. It is our member states who shape ESA's international engagements. And it is those international engagements that deliver both hard currency and soft power to Europe through joint missions, shared data, pooled resources, and global scientific achievements. I am, unfortunately, unable to be with you in person today, as the 336th ESA Council is currently underway at ESA headquarters. We are preparing together with our member states for the upcoming ministerial conference in Bremen just 1 month from now. There, we will present an ambitious package that will allow ESA to address Europe's key societal needs: the sustainability of life on Earth, Europe's leadership in science and technology, the resilience of our society and economy, and Europe's cohesion and global reach. This package includes concrete proposals for space sustainability, particularly through a significantly expanded space safety program. For example, the Vigil mission will revolutionize our ability to forecast extreme space weather events that threaten critical infrastructure. The Ramses Planetary Defense Mission, in collaboration with JAXA, will study the historically close flyby of asteroid Apophis in 2029, a milestone for planetary safety and international cooperation. In closing, let me reiterate, ESA is determined to lead. Through ambition, action, and collaboration, we are building a future where space is not only a domain of opportunity, but also a model of sustainability, responsibility, and global unity. I wish you all a very productive summit. Thank you.